getting you, please. Hey, I need you to tell me the address calmly. Take a breath for me. Are you with him right now? Alright, let me get you in the ambulance.
This chilling 911 call sent police racing to the crime scene. There they found 51-year-old Frankie Owens bleeding from a gunshot wound. While he was rushed to the hospital, officers questioned his fiancée. But soon the detectives would confirm his fiancée's worst nightmare.
Please tell me he's alive.
No.
However, soon she would find that her daughter had revealed a horrifying secret, one that would change everything in an instant. After receiving the 911 call on October 25, 2021, police immediately reached Madison Place, Oklahoma. There, they saw Frankie Owens on the ground, covered in blood. All they could witness was terror.
Where's the suspect at? Everybody get back, please, get back. One gunshot, is he still alive?
Yeah, he's got some occasional breathing.
The 51-year-old was barely clinging to life, a breathing corpse on the brink of death. The officers wasted no time and took him to the hospital. The visual of it shook his fiancée. Terror oozed from every corner as she narrated what she witnessed.
He's my fiancé.
Fiancé?
Yeah. All I know is he opened the door and this dude shot.
Right after this, Detective Jason White reached the homicide location to hunt down any traces of the suspect. His priority was to find out if the neighbors had seen the suspect.
Suspect.
They didn't see it. What it sounds like to me is that somebody came knocking the door, he answers it, and it happens right here.
It might have been a small amount of blood.
I've not found any cartridge case, a swab, just a general area of the door where somebody may have knocked.
Detectives noted that there were surveillance cameras around the area, which seemed like a glimpse of hope. But to their concern, the camera right outside the apartment was out of order. This left the detectives with no crucial leads from the crime scene. However, they did learn that Frankie lived with his fiancée and her daughter. That is where they got a crucial piece of information. The fiancé said the suspect might have fled toward a nearby apartment complex. However, the most heart-wrenching news was that Frankie couldn't be saved. Officers decided to inform the family later, and before that, they had some serious questions to ask. Hereby, Frankie's fiancée and youngest daughter were taken into custody for the homicide investigation. Frankie's fiancée was devastated by what she saw and cried throughout the interview. The detectives decided to keep the information of Frankie's death to themselves until they got every information from her.
What is that? I work every day. I do what I'm supposed to do.
All right, young lady. My name is Jason White. This is John Brown over here.
Me and Frankie been together for 9 months.
When asked about what had happened the day prior, she revealed that her middle daughter, who was in her mid-20s, had come to stay at her house a night prior, along with her 2 kids.
My daughter was over last night. I mean, she didn't have nowhere to go. She just came back down here from Topeka, Kansas. She's getting a place, get ready to get a place. I don't know where yet. They were staying with a friend in St. Thomas.
What she revealed next was important, but detectives at the time didn't know that it was a lead that would help solve this case. She said that Frankie and the middle daughter had a heated conversation, which didn't end peacefully.
She said, yes, I'm supposed to leave. She said, at the end of the day, this is my mama's house. She tells me when to leave. I said, if he's on the lease, he provides for this household too, as well as I do. I said, he's taking care of your sister, he's taking care of me. So he's the man of the house. Baby, if you have to leave, leave. Go to your sister's house.
She informed them that her elder daughter lived a few miles away, and her middle daughter was staying with a friend just a few apartments away. She then shared more details about the argument with the detective.
Was she out there this morning at all?
No, she was at home with her babies and her husband.
What was the drama about why he wanted her to leave?
Frankie was upset, and she started jabbing back at him. He called her stupid. Yeah, I mean, talking about you know, crack D and all this stuff. I was like, Frankie, that's my child, honey. That's my child. Please don't do her like that. And she said, well, I just leave, Mama. I'm not trying to disrespect your house.
Oh, she took both her kids this morning and...
Yes.
How'd she leave?
She drove her car.
Okay, what kind of car is that?
Chrysler 300 or
Okay.
something.
The fiancé explained to the detectives the horrific scene she had witnessed happening to Frankie.
Next thing I know, this knock come on the door. Like maybe 5-10 minutes later.
Mm-hmm.
It's this young dude that looked like this dude I heard on the street called JP.
Okay.
Frank said, what's up, man? He said, what's up with you? And then Frankie said, man, what it is? He said, man, step outside. Hey, we can handle it. Frankie said, fight like a man. You a punk because you using a gun. Fight like a man. He said, come outside, fool. Frankie said, I'm not coming outside. You got a gun, put the gun down. I ain't got no weapon, be a man. Frankie stepped 1 foot out. Next thing you know, I'm right behind him. Frankie falling back on me. And I'm like, what the crap? You shot him and the dude ran off. Frankie, well, he ain't had no trouble with nobody. This man is not from here. I don't know what to tell his mama.
Okay.
And she's in Virginia.
However, the detectives handled the situation carefully and tried gathering every detail they had of the suspect.
So Jay Penny, has he been over at the house before?
No.
Okay. What was he wearing?
He was wearing a hoodie. I didn't see the shirt. He had on some blue jeans. And he had a gun right here. I don't know the sizes of guns, but it was a big gun.
Okay. So he had a gun on his side.
Yeah, in his hoodie.
So describe him head to toe the best that you can.
He might be your height. I don't know, but he's dark skinned, half dreads, and he's real skinny.
So, if we showed you some pictures, you'd be able to say, this is the boy that shot Frank.
Yes.
As the fight between Frankie and the middle daughter was concerning and violent, the detectives tried to find out if there was any linkage between the middle daughter and the suspect, Jaquan Devontae Penny.
So let's go backwards real quick. So your daughter had just left. Is this somebody that knows your daughter? That maybe...
I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know. He looked like he went to school with my girls.
Mm-hmm.
But they say they don't know him.
Does she have a boyfriend currently?
He's locked up in David L. I wouldn't say that she had anything to do with it because she left peacefully and stuff.
I'm just saying, it doesn't sound like it was peaceful. She was pissed off, and I would have been pissed off too.
Yeah.
He insulted her. He disrespected her, called her names, etc., etc. I don't know. No. I don't know.
I don't want that to happen to Frank.
Hang tight for just a minute.
Though Frankie's fiancée was still oblivious to his death, she gave out crucial leads to the case. To assemble the fragments of the mystery, the detectives continued by bringing the youngest daughter for questioning. The detectives initiated the investigation in a composed manner. After this, they started questioning her about what had happened on the day when Frankie got shot.
So go ahead and tell me what happened.
Last night, I was with my sister's kids. I didn't go to bed until like 12, and I woke up this morning. I asked my mom if I could stay home. She said yes. I was logging onto my computer, trying to check my missing assignment. I was on this phone with my sister at the time.
Did she call you, or did you call your sister?
She called me.
What was that about? Yeah.
She was talking about what happened. Her and Frankie were kind of arguing. And all of a sudden, I heard a knock on the door. And I heard my mom was telling Frankie to stay inside, just close the door. And so I was just staying in my room.
You're doing great.
Um,
You're doing good.
Frankie was talking about, I see you have your gun to the side, put it down, fight like a real man. And so they were arguing for a little bit. And all I heard was a pow, and then I started smelling like gun smoke, something like that. I ran in there, see what was going on. He was to the ground, looked like he was having a seizure. So I was crying, and I told my sister on the phone, he got shot. Somebody shot him. Somebody shot Frankie.
They posed the final question, and her response was just as they had anticipated.
Okay. Has your sister, she acted pretty upset about what's happened, or? And be honest. I mean, he called her a lot of bad names, so it wouldn't be unusual for somebody not to be that upset about it. So be honest and tell me.
Yeah, she's a little bit upset.
Where's she at right now?
She's with my sister. It's her and her husband's place.
All right, you think your sisters would be willing to come down here?
I think so.
Okay.
The detective's suspicion directly fell on the middle daughter, believing she was connected to the shooting. Determined to find her, they tracked her down to her reported location, where they found a crucial clue.
That's it. Hey, Mark. I think we got the Chrysler 300 for sure.
When the detectives arrived at the location and knocked on the front door, no one answered. However, a neighbor was willing to speak with them and provided crucial information they needed at that moment.
All right. Appreciate it.
He said that she heard it show up and she had a toddler. Bunch of commotion going on. She says around 10 o'clock, and she said they all left.
The neighbor said that both daughters left with a kid in a red car, which was believed to be the oldest daughter's car. The investigation was actively going on. Meanwhile, the detectives decided to break the devastating news of Frankie's death to his fiancée and her daughter. Their reaction to the tragic news was difficult to witness.
I've been in touch with the hospital.
Please tell me he's alive.
No. You're gonna be strong for your mother, okay? I'm sorry to the both of you. I really am sorry. We need to figure out who did this.
The detectives wanted to observe the oldest daughter's reaction to the devastating news, so they asked her mother to call her.
Would you call her and just have him come down here? That way it'll make it easier.
Hey, babe.
You got your sister?
Yeah. Frankie's dead.
Are you serious?
Frankie's dead. Hey, all I have to do is tell them why her and Frankie got into it. They want to know. Okay, they on their way. All right, sweetie. I gotta go. I love you. Bye.
Thank you.
Her reaction didn't give them much to work with, but the middle daughter was a different story. The police had a feeling she knew something, especially after that heated argument with Frankie. Hence, detectives brought in the middle daughter for questioning.
Hello, young lady.
Hi.
Thanks for coming down here for starters. My name is Jason White. This is John Brown over here.
Take a breath, okay? I'm really a nice guy.
I've never been in this situation before.
The detectives tried to make her comfortable, hoping to get as much information as possible. They eased into the conversation, trying to get to know her better before digging deeper.
How many kids you have?
2.
And we've made arrangements, is that right?
My daughter, she's in elementary school.
I've spent a lot of time with your mother and your other sister.
Okay.
They seem like good people.
Yeah.
I have no reason to believe that you're not going to be the same.
All right.
But as the conversation went on, the detectives remembered something crucial. Frankie's fiancé had mentioned that the argument between the middle daughter and Frankie was fueled because of her living situation. That made them curious. They needed to know more about it.
Let me first off make sure that I have your correct information. Where are you currently living?
I currently don't really have anywhere to go. My mom was really helping me out.
Where you're laying your head at, like, well, other than there?
Other than there, I was laying my head at my homegirl's house. She stayed in St. Thomas Apartments.
I would just encourage you to be incredibly truthful with me.
Correct.
Okay?
What?
I understand that there was some sort of an incident that occurred. Tell me kind of what happened there.
So far, the detectives noticed that she seemed calm and willing to help. That was a good sign. They then asked her to share her version of what exactly happened during the argument that day.
Well, me and my mom's man kind of got into it. What escalated was he started yelling at me. You can get out of my house, you stand up.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said, you're a bum, you don't have nowhere to go.
All right, so he's calling you some unsavory words, not being very respectful.
Yeah. I said, Mom, can you say something to him? I mean, I'm your daughter. Like, he should at least give me that respect. I underestimate myself already. I don't like being this kitty. At the end of the day, I'm 112 pounds. And I feel like for my age, that's underweight. But the thing about it is I stress a lot. There's so much on my plate.
Yeah, it's a lot to deal with at your age.
The middle daughter spoke with a lot of emotion, and it was clear she was speaking from the heart. Sensing this, the detective leaned in, nodding along, trying to make her feel heard. The more comfortable she felt, the more likely she was to reveal something crucial.
But she was taking up for the both of us because she loved the both of us.
Of course.
Understandable. And I told him the day before this all happened that I loved him. So to hear this come out his mouth.
I you know what? 100% I agree with you. That's not right, what happened, okay? So what happened next?
I left and I went to my friend's house.
Did anybody come over while you were there?
No.
Okay.
She denied meeting anybody at her friend's apartment, but what she didn't know was that they had already uncovered crucial footage, one that was about to make her go from a concerned daughter to a potential suspect. Before even calling the middle daughter in for questioning, the detectives had already traced her movements from that day. And that's when they found it, the crucial piece of evidence, something that happened just 20 minutes before the 911 call.
So there's her car.
She goes in an apartment.
They kept scanning the footage, waiting for anything unusual, and then it happened. Just 5 minutes later, they caught a crucial movement. A black Honda pulled up near the apartment. Moments later, an individual matching the description given by Frankie's fiancé, a black male in a blue hoodie, stepped out of the car. Without hesitation, he walked straight into the same apartment the middle daughter had just entered. After a few minutes, the man in the blue hoodie was seen exiting the apartment and headed towards Frankie's apartment. Then 10 minutes later, they spotted the man rushing back into the apartment. He stayed inside for a few moments before stepping out again, moving quickly toward his car. Something was definitely off. But what made it even more interesting was what happened next. Moments after him, the middle daughter stepped out, got into her own car, and drove away.
Did anybody come over while you were there?
No.
Okay.
The middle daughter insisted she hadn't met anyone, but this clearly didn't add up. The police knew for a fact that someone had entered the apartment while she was there. What they needed now was the missing piece, the conversation that happened inside. The detective pressed on, determined to break through her story.
So did you make any phone calls to anybody?
Yes, I got my sister.
Mm-hmm.
I did call my sister
Why?
because I was letting her know that, I'm not going to be back over there anymore.
So in the midst of that conversation, when you made a phone call to her, did anything happen that was unusual in that phone call?
No. It was nothing unusual.
What she told me, that there was a knock on the door when you were on the phone with her. Is that, do you remember that?
Okay. I don't know if I remember a knock, but I was on the phone with my sister, and I know we hung up, and she called me back, and she said, "Oh my gosh, Frankie got shot." That's all I remember.
Okay.
Her lies were starting to catch up to her. Her words fumbled and her confidence too. The detectives then dropped the gentle approach. It was time to get to the truth.
All right, now, I told you at the very beginning of this, I need you to be 100% truthful with me. It's very, very important. Right?
Correct.
And I asked you a question. When you went over to the apartments over there at St. Thomas Square, did anybody come over there while you were over there?
Yes, it was a car that came over.
Well, who was it?
It was this person that I call my friend.
Okay, who is
it?
it? I don't want you to omit something because you're afraid that you're going to get in trouble. We got video over at St. Thomas Square, and I can tell you right now that this guy went over to that apartment over at St. Thomas Square where you were at. He went from there and he went over to the apartment where this happened, and then he ran back over there to the apartment where you were at.
Every word she spoke now would shape what came next. If she knew something about Frankie's murder, this was the moment it would slip.
Who is he?
His name is Jaquan.
What's his last name?
I don't know his last name.
I don't mean to pry here, but do you know him like on an intimate basis?
Oh, no.
Did you call him?
Well, I already seen him out there.
She finally admitted it. She had seen Jaquan after her heated argument with Frankie, and more than that, she was the one who had asked him to meet her at her friend's apartment. The pieces were starting to fall into place, but the detectives weren't done yet.
He comes over to the apartment. Did you tell him anything about any kind of...
I talked to him about, I was crying talking to him. And I just told him that, exactly what I told you, that he was cussing me out, saying I must get so. And then all he did was tell me he'll be right back. And he came back and told me that Frankie had pulled the knife out on him 3 times and he shot him. And I was like, why would you do that? I said, you have to go. He left. I didn't tell him to go over there.
The daughter's claim that she never asked Jaquan to go to Frankie's house didn't quite add up, especially considering she had called him to the apartment. Something felt off.
Did he leave the gun?
No, he didn't leave the gun. He did not leave the gun at all.
Okay, did you see the gun?
I did not see the gun.
Has he tried to call you since?
After that, once or twice, and I was just basically telling him you don't need to call my phone anymore, because then you took it to a whole nother level. And he was like, so you gonna snitch on me if something happened? I got scared.
What did you say?
He says, you gonna snitch on me if something happened? I said no.
Well, I'll give you credit anyway, because we could have sat in here for 2 hours and just completely wasted our time, but you didn't do that. So I do appreciate that.
Of course.
They needed to pin down the exact moment Jaquan last spoke to the middle daughter. His final movements were crucial.
Where did he go?
Tell me he was going back north. He went back north to his destination.
You got any issues with us going through your phone?
No, I don't. You go through the phone.
Did you delete anything on this phone?
You're gonna find the deleted call log. I deleted the number because he tried to call me.
Is Jaquan going to tell me the same story you just told me?
He should, because that's the truth.
Is he going to tell me you sent him over there to that apartment to kick his ass or something?
No. Am I going to jail?
I'll tell you what, right now, are you wearing any handcuffs?
No.
If I find out you're not telling me everything, we're going to have a real problem, okay? I know that this isn't something that you probably intended to happen, but it did. I'm going to have faith that you're telling me the truth, and you're going to walk out of here today.
The middle daughter told the police everything she claimed to know, but there was still one crucial thing left, to make her confess the truth, not just to the detectives, but to her mother.
Mama, hey, you okay? What? You not in trouble on nothing? What you crying for? I know, it's just, I love you guys. I see. What? Huh? I don't did you take? Yeah. Is it boy did it? I'm sorry. It was supposed to go against you.
He was supposed to go on there to me at the same time as I started crying, telling him, and he said he didn't say in no a harmful way or whatever. I'll be right back, like he was mad or whatever. I just told him or whatever. He was like, okay, sis, you gonna be okay? I'll be right back. And after that, that's when he went over there. But I didn't know they was going over there to do that, Mom. I just said, hey, I'm not mad at you. You mad at me? Do it. I know who did it. I told the truth. At the day, I didn't mean for that to happen. I swear to God.
The pieces were falling into place, but one key detail was still missing: the exact motive. To track down Jaquan and confirm his involvement, they needed to be sure. They laid out a lineup of images in front of Frankie's fiancée, the only eyewitness to the shooter.
Detective Warren here is going to show you a series of pictures.
Sorry about to say, man. I saw you guys want some stuff right now. I'll be right now. You look at these. Okay. I'm going to fix all of you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's him.
That is him?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it, okay?
Now, it was time to track down Jaquan. Keeping a safe distance, they parked a little away from his residence at Newport Shores apartment. Then they finally saw his black car. This meant there were high chances of him being inside the house.
I think it's
Our target suspect vehicle is at his house. We got probable cause for Mr. Penny in reference to this homicide. Figure out how we want to tactically approach this house and eventually go make contact.
The police waited outside the house calling for Jaquan to come out. They announced their presence, but there was nothing but silence. Then, finally, his father stepped outside, eyeing the officers.
I have a father. Laying on bed. I quote, he's a grown man. I don't know where he is. That's his car he drives.
After an hour of tense waiting, a car pulled into the residence. The detectives watched as the door opened, and the man they suspected was Jaquan stepped out. The standoff had finally reached its turning point.
Right here. Let me see your hands. Let me see your hands. Lay down flat on your belly. You're good. Hands behind your back. You keep doing it. Yes, okay. Can I get my dad a hug?
I'm just gonna let him give him a hug real quick and we're going. We gotta go, bro.
They're gonna talk with you downtown, man.
The officers swiftly moved in and arrested Jaquan Devontae Penny. Soon after, he was taken into custody for an intense interrogation.
You remember me. I'm Detective White. Detective Brown over here. I think it was 5 years ago, roughly. Something like that.
something like that.
Well, Jaquan, I liked you a long time ago. You're a lot taller than you. You've grown up. What's your highest level of education?
You're smarter than most college students.
I would agree. I was impressed with you the last time.
The detective recalled that Jaquan had a troubled history. A record from August 8, 2014, when he was booked in Tulsa County for possessing marijuana and resisting arrest. Then on May 6, 2019, he was booked again in Tulsa County for transporting loaded firearms in a vehicle. That past only deepened the gravity of the situation.
All right, well, let's start off with today. This morning. Tell me about your day.
Check them. Last night, her client ran experience. She had told me that her mother's boyfriend was being belating her towards her.
Okay.
She left clothes over there. She had told me that he wasn't there, he left it. When I asked her, was he at the house? She had said no. So I was going up there to go get that clothes. He opened the door. He rushed outside with a knife.
Jaquan claimed that it was Frankie who had attacked him first.
I'm gone. I shot.
Okay, so you shot?
I said the gun stuff.
How many times did you shoot?
So one time I said the guns. I didn't even know where he got hit at.
What did he say when he opened the door?
Listen to discussion. Like I opened the door, her mama came toward me, rushing behind her with a knife. And this lady was trying to do something.
When you first saw the knife, why didn't you just turn around and leave?
It's like I'm talking to her mom. I literally told her, Mom, I'm over here to come get that clown. And he stepped back and rushed me with the knife and I shot him.
You weren't scared of it at that point, right?
No, I wouldn't.
Describe the knife for me.
They came out just in the silver too.
Okay. So, what kind of gun did you use? Okay. Where's the gun?
It's mentally shaped.
It's your mom's. Okay. Did you hear what happened? Okay. Well, he died. Did you know that? You hadn't heard? Okay.
After hearing about Frankie's death, Jaquan didn't seem surprised at all. His face remained emotionless. That detached response was deeply disturbing.
Let me ask you this. You're saying self-defense, right? Do you think that it would have probably been in your best interest to come forward and call the cops?
Okay, but so then hindsight says, when would have been a good time to call the police and said, hey, police, this just happened?
I was trying to make been calling a few lawyers today to try to line up some legal representation and all that.
Did you get a hold of anybody?
No success.
How many did you call? You know the names of the three?
Did she tell you to go over there and do anything to him?
No.
After you had told her about what had happened, did you ever say to her, are you going to say anything?
No.
Did you ever say, are you going to snitch?
No.
Okay. Sit tight. Give us a quick minute.
After leaving the interrogation room, the detectives noticed Jaquan sitting with a worried expression, as if he already knew his time was up. His story wasn't just a carefully constructed lie. It had no foundation at all.
His information, it just doesn't make sense because we didn't find a knife at the scene. Let's say devil's advocate that he had a knife. Why didn't you just leave? When you do something like this, people have a legitimate self-defense claim, they are knocking down walls to get to us, to tell us what's up. And he did really the opposite of that. I feel very comfortable with the fact that we charged him.
Jaquan Devontae Penny was arrested for first-degree murder and was put in the Tulsa County Jail. But there was still one person they needed to inform about Frankie Owens' death, his mother.
Hello, Miss Owens. My name is Jason White. I'm a detective here in Tulsa Police. And I'm sorry to bother you this late, and I've got some really bad news for you.
What?
Frankie's your son?
Yes.
Well, there was an incident that happened this morning. Somebody tragically killed him.
Shut up! Shut up! My son dead.
Yes, ma'am. There was an incident that happened over at the apartment where he was living with his girlfriend. He just got confronted by this young man that went over there, and the young man took matters in his own hands, and he ended up killing him.
Oh.
We did make an arrest in reference to this.
Yes.
Okay?
Thank you so much.
I'm very sorry.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Meanwhile, Jaquan Penny pleaded no contest to first-degree manslaughter and was sentenced to 25 years. Yet, one mystery remained. The gun that took Frankie Owens' life was never found. Although the killer was arrested, the aftermath was filled with sorrow. Frankie's fiancée and youngest daughter were haunted by the traumatic memory of witnessing the shooting. Meanwhile, the middle daughter was cleared of any wrongdoing, since the killer confessed that the tragedy was entirely his doing. In the end, justice was served, but the pain and loss left a mark that would never fully heal. Our deepest condolences go out to Frankie Owens' family. No one should have to endure such a heartbreaking loss. Do you think Jaquan's claim of self-defense is valid, or was there something more to this story that we may never truly know? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like the video, subscribe to Mysterious 7, and let us know which case you'd like us to cover next. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe. If you enjoyed this episode and want access to exclusive content, consider joining our membership plan. Until next time, stay safe and stay curious.